What is your if I won the lottery purchase? I would build a new house with a courtyard for my cats, a hot tub for myself and my partner with a canopy of trees in the courtyard, a craft room and home office. Each computers don't always play well with crafting debris, a redone kitchen and entertaining area, a games room, library and a home theater, and a couple of guest rooms in addition to the master suite. And have a cleaner come in twice a week to keep the whole place clean and tidy. Hugely wasteful to end up with a house more than twice the size of what we are in for just the two of us. But it would be lovely. Husband and I were talking about this the other day. One unique idea I had was to open a tropical fruit farm using greenhouses, and sell produce at my regional farmers markets and offer exclusive picking experiences. Keep in mind, I live in the Midwestern US, so this would be a pretty difficult thing to maintain, and you would have to have a lot of money already because there would be a good chance it could get taken out by weather regardless of the setup and generators. So definitely a rich hobby farm idea, but fun nonetheless. Buy a house with a little property, preferably forested, furnish said house. Upgrade some technology. I have new PC, camera, lenses, phone. Save, invest most of it so I can live comfortably and simply for the rest of my life without needing to work. Give to charity as much as I could, volunteer my time as I wouldn't have a job and wouldn't be worried about money. Possibly start a feral stray not adoptable cat community that could protect the cats from crazy people and protect wildlife from cats. Selfishly. A yacht? Not quite the biggest super yacht, but something which would be able to go just about anywhere and be a comfortable home away from home. Automation and reliable engines would be very important to minimize crew. Other than that, a charity non-profit that would catalog the DNA of as many species of organism, especially those who are soon to be or already extinct, as possible. Both digitally and physically preserved specimens. I guess it depends on how much. If it were one of those billion-dollar prizes, I've always thought I'd put it into some interest-earning account and donate it to a community college on the condition that the interest to provide free reduced tuition to all of their students, and they let me call it the Bill and Susan Alfond could have done this at any moment but chose not to. Scholarship. They're the richest people in my state, pending the amount. Assuming it's to can fuck off and do what I want with my life. I've always been Magic the Gathering player, but the area I live in isn't the greatest and can't really be supported well enough. So I'd love to be able to open a shop and support local players, but able to have some staff and not care about the store's income, but also know we're going to continue having a roof over our head. If it's a big enough prize and I want to buy up all the houses in a hoe except for those of the complaining busybodies. With my controlling interest, I'd then turn the regulations upside down. For example, grass must be a minimum of 4 tall, every house is required to have one non-functional vehicle on the lawn. Nobody is allowed to have the same trash can as any other house, that sort of thing. The 1/200 scale model Titanic kit. It's hella expensive and I doubt I'd have room for it, and I honestly haven't put any models together since I was like 8. But it just looks so cool. And I want it. Sigh. Edit. I realize that's nowhere near as fancy as everyone else is saying, but I don't need a lot. Maybe toss in a trip to Wales to see where my ancestors came from. That'd be pretty cool. I guess I'd stop working? But not sure. Maybe I'd have a conversation first about going part-time, fully remote, and removing the parts of my job that I don't like. I think I'm valuable enough that they'd want to keep me in some fashion, and I don't know that I want to just stop working right away. Of course, knowing I could walk at any time would make everything less stressful. Paying off my debts, paying off my sister's debts, paying for my niece's nephew's schooling, then paying off my best friend's debts. Essentially, I'd make sure the people closest to me are worry-free, and their kids can pursue education further first. After that, I'd start getting some things I want. If I had fuck you money, I'd send those people on vacations anywhere they want. Pay off debt. Buy mom a double-wide trailer, put it on some land or something just outside of town. Buy an RV, not a huge one but enough to tow a small truck. A few cruises. Some cosmetic work. I'm getting $20,000 in December from SSI and I have no idea what to do with it. I legally have to spend it in 9 months. I'm not good with money though. Any suggestions, y'all? A really nice grand piano. Not necessarily the most expensive, but just nice. I'd spend a lot of time going to tons of different shops finding the one that fits me best. After that, get myself a simple house and make sure I'm set up pretty well, then give the rest or at least a very large chunk to my parents. They've given me everything, so it's the least I could do. Crown teeth that need crowns. Get new fillings in the rest. Maybe an implant or 2. Buy a house, pay off the car, pay off student loans. And finally, have Bang Olufsen deck out my home theater with one of their fancy TVs and their high-end BOLab stereo systems. The rest? Investments. I might still work. I really enjoy my job, though lately, after clearing my taxes, if there's enough, I'd say a house each for a few of my family members and a house for my employee, along with a few apartments as rentals so I don't have to work. Like a 4-unit apartment building, maybe more. Then my kid can have it if she wants when I die. She'll already have a house of her own. I'd need millions, huh? A vacant industrial building. Build an apartment for myself in one corner. Turn the rest into my dream workshop and material storage. Then try to outdo Project Binky. I want to recreate my first car from basic materials. Not from parts: sheet steel, ingots of various metals, pelletized plastic, etc. Film it all and post it on YouTube. Depends on how much I won. $100 million. Build a 50,000 square foot floating tiki house in Tahiti and buy a Lamborghini super yacht. Sounds like a hell of a time. Edit: I build one of these floating tiki bars too. Why the hell not? My neighborhood. The housing prices are relatively ridiculous here, even compared to other areas. Then I'd rent them all out for like, as low as possible to people I know who got priced out: local college students. The students would probably pay less as long as they keep it nice. And also disband the fucking HOA. Fuck HOAs. Lego UCS Venator. Well, realistically, I'd just save it to fund the film I want to make once I've got more experience and also pay off college. Then I'd make the film, build the franchise, and retire happily by 70, once I've finally told the complete story I want to tell. Trust me when I say I have a lot of ideas. It's silly, but there's a very limited run figurine from a video game that sometimes pops up for sale on eBay for $2K. It was made by the head concept artist for the game, and I think there's only 150 in existence. It's my favorite character who has very little merch. X200B. That would be my one frivolous purchase. I'd have a house custom built for my needs. I've been living in apartments for over 20 years, and I've had countless injuries that could have been prevented by things like grab bars, textured surfaces in the bathroom, and other things. Plus, it would be nice to actually be able to use my wheelchair inside my home. A building so our place of work can stop paying rent for our space, a house so I can relax and not worry about my largest bills, paying off my partner's student loans, and a house for my parents wherever they want so my dad can retire. I wouldn't even quit my job, just maybe cut back my days and take more vacations. My wife and I talk about this a lot. We wouldn't even move, we would just quit our jobs, pay off our debts for a personal chef. Doing whatever we want all day and coming home to delicious meals cooked with a variety of healthy ingredients anytime we want them would be an absolute life changer. Depends on amount, I guess. Most likely some land off-grid. Build a nice quiet space I can breathe in. Love where I live currently, but sometimes I wish I could just step away from people. Other than that, a few nice cameras and a few watches that I could never afford under my current circumstances. I want to buy time for my family. I want to see them all again. The cold truth is I wasn't successful enough in life to see them all again. I am terrified I won't see my brothers again before it's too late. Sad, but true. Then maybe a modest house with killer internet and gaming stuff. Some land to put a reasonably sized house on. Put portions into growth accounts for my nieces and nephews that they'll gain access to after they turn 21. Give some to immediate family. Invest most into various different things until I have a comfortably livable amount left in my account. House and lot for my parents with a lift or an escalator for my grandparents. A little and a big dog for my grandparents so they won't feel lonely when everyone's at work. Move to the Netherlands or Luzern to study and work there. Maybe get dual citizenship to have first world problems. A self-playing piano and a hall to place it in. Secret passages. So a house with a hall, lounge, dining room, kitchen, ballroom, conservatory, billiard room, library, and study. A showcase in the hall with a rope, a dagger, a wrench, a revolver, a candlestick, and a lead pipe. I would invest in the money till I was the richest person alive, then I'd buy me a little piece of land and make it a small farm and live with my sister and her girlfriend because I'm asshole and romantic, so yeah, farm time. Also yes, I'm a country kid, I grew up in the country. Probably a casino or apartment building or some shit. Guaranteed income, and I can hire someone or some people to manage that shit for me so I don't have to worry about it most of the time. But I'm not a financial expert, so someone can tell me why this is a stupid idea. After the nuts and bolts stuff to continue the rest of my life comfortably without having to work. Property big enough to build a functioning trebuchet on. Then, hiring people to design and build a trebuchet. Absolutely pointless except for my own edification. Buy a large piece of property, give smaller parts of it to family and close friends to build houses for cheap, have a tricked out meeting house in the center where we can party and have celebrations together. Essentially a compound where we all get our space. A small house in the not-so-woods. Far away enough that I can have privacy, but not too far away that I have to drive 5 hours to the nearest Lego store. Because I'm finally buying that UCS Millennium Falcon and a hat. Also probably bought him an FFS surgery, Winnebago, so I can pretend to go on vacation and just never come back to Canada. I only say this BC I'm waiting for Trudeau to tell us we aren't allowed to leave. If I won big enough maybe I could even dissolve the Liberal government. I'd just buy land and house. Likely 2-1 for my mom on the other side of the property. Make sure it's all fenced up with cameras and sensors. Pay off my debts and then find a genuinely fun job so I can live the rest of my life happy. I'd pay off my parents' mortgage, pay for all 3 siblings' weddings and student loans, then buy myself a house, some land, a beach house for the immediate family, then a nice new truck and a Porsche. I've always wanted a Porsche. I will buy up cheap radio stations in rural communities and reprogram them to educate voters about the evils of corporate capitalism, and attempt to undo 50 years of right-wing media influence on the America's working class.